Hello folks, Jason Chrisman here of JC's Bees. Boy, what a cold, blustery 2 weeks it's been. For us here in central Ohio, we haven't been above freezing in 2 weeks. We've had a couple nights in the single digits. Very, very cold. I know right now it's about 17 degrees. Everything's nice and frigid and crunchy. You can see all this lovely snow we've got, and it's hard to tell from your perspective, but there's about 10 inches of snow on the ground, and under about 1.5 inches of that there's a nice layer of ice, so it's nice and crunchy. And I tell you, this crunchy deep snow will wear your ass out trying to walk very far at all in it. It makes everything harder. It's just miserable. I tell you, I can handle the cold weather, but this snow, it's just got to go. It's not for me. I don't mind it in small doses, but 2 weeks, I'm done with you. You can go. See you later. I know much of the United States is experiencing this cold snap. Seen people down in Texas having some major difficulties without ladybug. Sorry about that, folks. Ladybug yanked on the microphone cord, readjusted the camera for us. I know much of the United States is in this cold spell. Texas is, wow, they're in some severe troubles. No power, no water. I talked to a friend of mine that lives in Texas, and he mentioned something about most of the houses in Texas don't have their water lines. Let me re-say this. Their water lines, as they come from their well or from the city water, whichever it may be, they come out of the ground to go into the house versus coming up underneath the house. And that could cause a major problem for your water as far as it freezing. Luckily, this friend of mine is from the Midwest, and he knows all about this cold weather and how to prepare for it, so he didn't have any problems that I know of, and I hope that's still the case with you there, Tom. I tell you, about 9 days ago, probably about 13 days ago, our deep well sprung a hole right above the foot valve. And if you know anything about deep wells, that means you have to pull the whole pipe, and which ours is 140, 170 feet long. So that's a lot of pipe to pull. And luckily, I guess, though, the hole was right above the foot valve, so all of that water that was in that line drained out, and it was just the empty line that we had to pull. Since I upgraded the piece that rusted out to a brass piece, and hopefully we don't have any more problems. But my water well is kind of a mess anyway. We have an old school water well down in the ground about 4 feet, and then I've got this little A-frame sitting over top of the hole, and all of our water lines are underground, obviously, from the well and up underneath the house and into the house, so we don't have any problems with freezing there. But my well casing going down into the ground is about 40 years old, and it's steel, and it's starting to rust, and those pieces of rust are falling down in the well, and when they get sucked up through the foot valve screen, they plug up my jet. So I have to use this special piece in my return line called a jet screen, and that catches any chunks of rust, so it doesn't plug up my jet. And that's worked rather well for us the last 8 years. And when I pulled it just there a few days ago, I had to change out that screen. Even though it was brass, it still rusted out and fell apart. So what I need to do in the long run is either have another well drilled, which I don't really have the money for that. That's about $14,000. And upgrade to a submergible pump instead of one that just sits out on the ground like we currently use. And I'll overlap a picture here just to show you how old school we are with our well setup. Another option I'm considering is, I guess they can pull that steel casing out and they can put plastic down in, Schedule 40, and that would stop the rust from falling down in. I could probably even bring it above ground, drop in a submergible, and call the upgrade done for probably half the price. Ladybug back here screwing around. What you doing, girl? She ain't cold. All that fat keep her warm. But anyway, I understand troubles with water. Not a big fan of plumbing, so when plumbing goes around here, it's not a very lovely place to be. I know I probably make it a little bit worse than it needs to be, but I get so burnt on messing with plumbing. Plumbing's one of them things that you've got to always be in a tight, odd position, usually upside down with your neck twisted and your arms wrapped around something, and it's just never fun. And then when you get in there and you put your clamp on in your weird position, the freaking thing always leaks. So you're back in there putting another clamp on it. It's just something I could do without, is plumbing. Carpentry, I don't have a problem with. But plumbing, just not a big fan of it, even though I know how to do it. So at this point, our bees are probably up in the mountain camp method, eating on that dry sugar and waiting for the big thaw, which is coming this week for us here in Ohio. We're going to hit some 40-degree weather, and this stuff is going to go bye-bye. And hopefully, before long, the maple trees start to bloom. I did some research on some of my old pictures just to figure out when the maple bloom is, and in 2019 it was the end of March, and by April 6th, I believe it was, there was loads of pollen coming in on the bees' legs from the maple trees. So pretty excited about that. It's just around the corner, and hopefully we'll see the same thing about the same time frame. So anyway, folks, keep warm. Warmer weather's coming. If you haven't got water, I feel for you. If you don't have electric, I feel for you. Luckily, I took steps years ago when we had a nice storm and seen all the things that could go wrong. So I upgraded to a wood-burning heat source. We don't use any propane. We don't rely on electric for heat. We got a wood burner. We can cook on it. We can heat with it. It's a multi-purpose tool. Electric goes out, sure, we don't have water, but I can take snow in the house and melt it, and then I've got water. So it's not water I drink, but you know, I can use it to flush the toilet and things like that. So anyway, folks, I'm getting cold. You're probably tired of hearing me bitch about the cold, and yeah, I'll see you next week, folks. Take care, stay warm, and I hope things turn around here for us real soon on this weather situation. I'll see you next week, folks. Thanks for watching.